I saw Joker Folie last night and left the theater with conflicting feelings about this film. I thought elements of this film worked like the visual aesthetic that was carried over from the last film, the chemistry between Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, and believe it or not, the actual story. I'll explain this towards the end of the video. This film really serves as an encore to the events that happened in the first movie. We see Arthur Fleck in Arkham Asylum constantly being abused by the prison guards and meeting with his lawyer to prepare for his trial. Throughout his interactions with his attorney, we learn she is trying to get him off due to his insanity. Also, she has him meet with a psychiatrist so it can be determined if he's mentally fit to stand trial. While he's in Arkham Asylum, he appears to have a routine of taking his meds in the morning, watching TV outside recreational time, and occasionally meeting with his lawyer when needed. However, this monotony is broken up a bit when he stumbles upon Harley Quinn. He's immediately smitten with her, and they get into some fun trouble during her stay at Arkham. Afterwards, she somehow gains access to visit him in the hole and tells him she's being released because they're saying he's a bad influence on her. But now she'll be able to come to his trials. We also learn he stopped taking his meds. His trial finally begins, and with each day, Harley is in attendance. Also, Arthur appears to become more dissatisfied with the way his lawyer is defending him against Harvey Dent. This dissatisfaction implodes while Zazie Beetz' character, Sophie Dumont, is giving her testimony. He fires her on the spot and tells the judge he would like to defend himself. He shows up to court the next day in full Joker regalia and defends himself by cross-examining his former co-worker, Gary Puddles. This scene was one of the best scenes of the film. The actor portraying this character was able to show just how traumatized Gary was after witnessing him murder someone. Gary pleads with Arthur to drop his act and tells him this is not who he is. Arthur replies, "Maybe you never knew me. Like everyone else, maybe you never truly seen me." He then goes on a rant about how no one cares about him and the public and media only sees the Joker. I actually thought this was decent commentary of how society just wants sensationalism but rarely cares about the people who are being exploited, while the events they're voluntarily or involuntarily are a part of is being sensationalized for consumption. Because Arthur is not an attorney, he poorly defends himself and gave a closing argument that cemented the fact that he's aware of what he's done and there is no Joker. Seemingly disappointed, Harley Quinn and a few of his supporters walk out of the courtroom. The Joker is found guilty and is given the death penalty. Suddenly, an explosion happens and that allows Arthur to run from the courthouse and into the city. He stumbles upon one of his supporters that helps him escape the area of the courthouse. All their talk about anarchy seemingly turned him off, so he gets out of the car and begins to run away from them. We see that he runs to his old apartment building and sees that Harley is sitting on the iconic steps from the first film. He runs to her and tells her someone blew up the courthouse and they can now run away. Harley looks at him with a disappointed yet empty look on her face and tells him, "We're not going anywhere. You gave up on the fantasy. It was all we had." Arthur looks at her clearly confused and she reiterates her point by saying, "There is no Joker. That's what you said." He pleads with her by saying he's still the same guy who shot Mary Franklin on his show. She steps away from him and says goodbye, Arthur. As she's walking up the stairs, we hear the police sirens and see them pull up behind Arthur as he's left broken-hearted on the stairs. It's clear that this version of Harley Quinn represents the public's obsession with sensationalism. She only cared about Joker and was not interested in Arthur, the true person beneath the persona. Lastly, this film ends with Arthur being assassinated by another inmate who will presumably take on the mantle of the Joker. Our journey with Arthur is done, and I'm happy about it because I felt there was no need to make a sequel to the original film. The first film made such a bold statement about the stigma placed on people with mental illness, classism, abuse, and the failure of a broken system that neglects and often harms the poorest and most vulnerable populations in our society. Although I was not for this sequel being made, I was not totally upset with the story. I think showing the aftermath of the events from the first film was a natural direction to go in for this sequel. I liked seeing the mistreatment of Arthur and other inmates in Arkham Asylum because I felt it showed how police brutality is often overlooked and goes unpunished in the criminal justice system. Also, I wasn't expecting this film to be partially a legal drama, but considering we're focused on Arthur facing the consequences of his actions, it makes sense. With that being said, I feel this story could have worked better if it wasn't a musical. It was such an unnecessary element of this film. If Todd would have just focused on making a regular film and not stray too far from the formula that worked for the first movie, but just focus on deconstructing Joker as a character, the film would have been better received. Overall, I rate this film a C-. If you enjoyed this review, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.